Most of the times we limit the disabilities which are strands and wheelchairs. Some of the uncommon things that are needed, but people ignore it.
What are some of the gaps which have been filled, but they still require some work, and what are some of the gaps which are unfilled?
How do you think the youth or the general public perceives the word accessibility and how it should be perceived?
We are basically from CIY Yuva, and we are in collaboration with Confederation of Indian Industries. And a few years back, when Yuva really started, was when CII thought that they need to connect with the young entrepreneurs and everything. And so that's how Yuva is also founded. Via has multiple verticals, and Yuva is one of them. So under Via is one of the verticals, accessibility, and that's why we all are here. And Yuva ke jo colleges hain, we also adopt these same verticals and as to promote them. So accessibility vertical ke jo hum sare hain, and we are representing our colleges also.
Okay.
But majorly it is all about accessibility right now. Asta ma'am is our chair of accessibility from my and I am Anuja. I am currently pursuing BMS from Ramanuja.
Hello, so my name is Bhavya. I belong to Gujarat and I am studying in SRCC. I am in my second year.
Hello sir, I'm Arzu and I'm currently pursuing BBA in James Karkaji.
Hi, I'm Bhumika and I'm currently pursuing BCom Honors from WIPS.
My name is Arman. I am Executive Director NCPEDP.
So before coming obviously here, I did some research about NCPEDP, and I also only a little bit. I did not get much time. So sorry. But I got to know about you used to work at Infosys, right? As an HR specialist. And I want to get into the HR field right now. I did an internship back, and I genuinely want to know what was your perspective over there, because as you can see, Infosys, a company like Infosys, I do not really have insights on that. I know what it works. I don't know how the employees work over there. Moreover, I also want to know how accessibility was adopted over there at that company.
Now, Infosys is a large multinational company, and I was heading the Equal Opportunity Initiative of Infosys, which is part of the HR vertical. But my responsibility was, hiring and building capacity of disabled people, also looking at gender, people from Tier 2, Tier 3 towns. So we are a team of 3-4 people, so we had our own different responsibilities. And I think for Infosys to look at disability, is one of the first IT companies in India who started employing people with disability, and then making accessibility as part of its culture, making part of the compliance. Vendor who were done onboarding were kind of made to keep disability inclusion as part of the deliverables. And this was across board. It was not only one vertical or one operation. Primarily we looked at hiring people with disability, ensuring that they grow into the company, giving them enough training, mostly investing in the employees with disability.
That's great. So what, you shifted technically from Infosys to just currently working at NCPEDP?
From Infosys, I went back to Guwahati.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm from Guwahati.
Okay.
And I came to NCPEDP in 2018. So it's been 7.5 years that I'm here.
That's great. So was there a reason that you shifted that, or was there you?
Well, I thought the kind of work I do within a corporate is limited in impact. 500 employees, 1,000 employees. I'll be if an employee at that time knew of disability, it would be 1 lakh. But I thought if I come and work out in a civil society organization back home, the scope would be larger. There's so much one can do, and disability needs a lot of support. Still does. At that time was even more.
Sir, as a youth, because I know that we don't have the entire full information, so I actually wanted to know that how do you think the youth or the general public perceives the word accessibility and how it should be perceived? It's for my general knowledge, I would like to ask.
No, accessibility, everybody needs accessibility. It's not specifically for disabled people. Anyone, able body or disabled person, they need accessibility to go into a building or getting information which is accessible format. So it's fundamental for human beings. What happens here that when we say accessibility and when we mean disabled people, we forget them because they're not part of the majority of this world. So only 16 to 20% of the people are people with disability. Rest 80% of the majority are so-called able-bodied. So everything is planned according to them. Like buildings will have staircase, there will be lift up to certain floors, and so on. Like buses or rail, everything is designed keeping in mind certain ability of functionality for everybody. So disabled people or elderly people are then become an afterthought. So if we create accessibility on the principle of universal design, that is on the principle of universal design which will work for everyone, irrespective of your having disability or not disability, you will be using the same features of a building or a website or thing, and then it doesn't discriminate against anybody.
So you mean it should not be shown as something special services
No,
provided?
no, it's not. I think it doesn't really have to be. It's if you plan in accessibility for people with disability right from the drawing board,
Including accessibility in the
yes,
planning stage.
Yes, the universal design. You don't even say the principle of universal design, how you put a doorknob.
Exactly.
The knob and the handle. The handle is more universal. Everybody can use it. And some people, children, they cannot turn the knob of a door. But if it's a handle, you can bring it down and push it or pull the door. So small design changes, which is on the principle of universal design, it makes it usable for everybody. So that's need to be kind of created awareness about. That's need to be invested on. Yeah.
Sir, one question from me would be, what are some of the major problems which NCPEDP is working on, and what role can society, and in society majorly, what role youth can play in solving those problems?
I think one of the major problems that NCPEDP constantly works on is to create enough information and knowledge about disability inclusion in every aspect of life. So whether it was a lockdown, or when you talk of GST, or you talk of the budget, or you talk of census, you talk of elections, everywhere you try to bring disability as inclusion. And I think today the youth, they need to get a little more understanding and sensitivity about disability. So and to presume that no matter what you do, you will find a disabled person coming to use a product, service, or to your house, or your own family member would have some disability at some point. So if we plan for all, it kind of leaves no one behind. And disability is not something which people don't like. People are very compassionate towards disability, and I think what lacks is knowledge. If I am making a restaurant, if I can make it accessible, people who come to my restaurant will pay. It's not that disabled people are getting 50% discount or 20% discount because of disability. The more people come into your shop, to your cinema hall, to your restaurant, to your hospital, to anything that you do, people will use your service and pay. I'm saying in a private sector point of view. Governments have a mandate to do it.
Yes.
So if you design anything, if you have a washing machine which is smart, which talks back, oven which talks back, like you have a Alexa which becomes makes your appliances on voice command, and so on. So everything is possible, and it doesn't discriminate, only help disabled people, it helps everyone.
Yes, sir. So what do you expect from youth, from us? If you, as you said in the previous discussion that we had, you said that we should help, and we are all here to help any way possible. We have come up with plans to, like, for example, 21 days of disability. We came up with that campaign. But we also do want to know what can we do from our side, like if something, like small things, or the major things that can spread awareness in our colleges.
I think if you see disabled people, make friends, talk to them, just try to understand what is
Their
perspective of life, and disability is created by the environment. It's not the person itself. It's not a medical problem. Understand? Disability is a social issue. So that way, if you are making friends, you know more, and everybody is unique. Like all 4 or 5 of us here in this room are unique people. Despite some of us share the same gender, but we have different ways of life with the different needs, different IQs. So likewise, one size fit all cannot work. People with disability are also like anybody else. So that needs to be understood. I use a wheelchair as a mobility aid. You don't use, you walk. So I need a ramp, you need a staircase, but we all need an entrance. Without an entrance, if there's a ladder put outside or a rope for you to climb inside a building, you would also not be able to. Or a few percentage of people. So the design for majority of people, the majoritarian mindset, it kind of takes away certain fundamental rights of people who come from a bigger section of things. Yeah. So this have to be aware that whatever you do, is it friendly for all? Is it taking everybody along?
To create a sensitivity of the particular topic.
Yeah, the people don't need your charity actually.
Yeah, they don't.
So if you're holding an event in your college, you should think that disabled people come. If somebody may be deaf, do we need a sign language interpreter? Do we need to create a quiet room for people who are neurodivergent? So many things. Accessible washrooms. These are fundamental human rights.
They need to be felt.
Yeah, of course.
They need to be able to feel at home and just
Feel, I mean, not like feel at home, like they should not feel uncomfortable. It's the concept of freedom. Either all of us are free or none of us are. Safety is for all. It's not only some people are safe and other people are not. You feel safe to take the metro. If you feel safe to take, but it's for everybody. It is not ask your name and then you feel safe or not, right? So accessibility is like that. And disabled people don't need to put on a pedestal to be made welcome. They just need to be like everybody else.
So basically, I just wanted to ask, like, most of the times we limit the disabilities which are trams and wheelchairs. So if any business or college is starting its inclusion journey, so what are the first thoughts that need to be dismantled and how should we go about it, like the first few steps?
First fix that, they're not a hazard. First you fix that and you don't have to fix their disability. You have to fix your building, you have to fix your system, you have to fix your policies, which ensure that for example, the government of India is one of the biggest procurer of goods and services in the world. Everything is procured. Buildings are, there's a tender and then people who kind of participate in the tender, then the building is made. So if the tender is, while it released, is make it one of the deliverables and compliance that if this building has to be accessible for disabled people, if it is not, we will not pass the bill or the occupancy. Then it doesn't cost anybody, right? So if you're buying transport, buses, in next 2 years, the government of India will buy about 10,000 e-buses, which is blue floor. Are they disabled friendly? Are the bus stops where they stops are friendly or not? These things need to be talked about without going to disabled people to talk about it. This is public money. Everybody is paying tax. So our money is not so like why it is not being taken care of. So those culture, those systems need to be in place. You don't decide on how you feel in the morning. On your decisions are guided by something. A judge doesn't pass a judgment. He is a good man. There are guiding principles. There's a constitution of this country. There are laws, policies. All those laws and policies need to take care of disabled people.
So what are the few uncommon, opportunities or something like that? Not exactly opportunities, but accessibility के लिए जो भी advantages होते हैं, for example, advantage भी जैसे ramps होते हैं wheelchair users के लिए, that is a common thing that I think we can see that everywhere in our colleges everywhere. But what are some of the uncommon things that are needed but people ignore it?
I think, for example, you need braille signages. Everything. You need to put QR codes for blind people so that they can, scan with their mobile phone, know which door, what is it, any information. Signages for deaf people, sign language interpreters. Many technologies are there now. Look at our phones, it talks back, it takes a dictation, it reads your thing. It's a lot of screen readers are there without you having to install something. It comes built in with your phone and your laptops and everything. So there are many features like people who are deaf and blind, there are teleprompters for them. So there are a lot of solutions in the world, from human to technology, and people with disability should have a choice. What do they want to pick?
Sir, adding to this question, what are some of the gaps which have been filled but they still require some work. And what are some of the gaps which are unfilled? Like there's a market gap right now which startups can exploit. Students can work towards bringing up a new technology towards filling up that gap.
The gap is that a lot of infrastructure is built which is not friendly for disabled people. What technologies can be brought in to make that infrastructure friendly for all? You cannot retrofit the whole of India. You cannot break down all old buildings and make a new one. So what technology, what systems? Don't fix disabled people. Fix the environment, your website, your apps, your public transport system, your buildings, your products, your services. Everything need to be marketed in a manner that disabled people are also consumer of those. And consumers always pay.
So sir, as you were talking about technology, so I think in this year's budget there was this Divyangjan Sahara Yojana for assistive technology. So do you think this is the thing that will fill in the gap, or there are some things else also like mindset shifts and all?
A very small amount of money. It does help a few, thousands of people. But India holds the largest number of disabled people in the world. So the investment needs is about 50,000 crore. It's not a cost, you need investment to remove barriers.
So, what kind of misconceptions do you feel exist in the environment that needs to be changed through a mindset or anything that you could say?
The people with disability come with, some extra power. They're superhuman. They have a lot of willpower. People with disability are sick. People with disability are like this because they've done some sin in the past life. That's why I've been born like this.
Karma is a thing.
Karma.
Exactly.
And some people think you're God sent, so you have, whatever you say will be blessed. So if you pray for or say something, all that need to go away. They're as good and bad like anyone else.
And so, what about, for example, in corporate, as you mentioned, that you were hired, as you already shared your experience, that you were hired to make it more accessible for other people and everything. So, what are the steps like corporate can take? Like, for example, as you said, blind people and deaf people, and these are the things.
No, corporate people should,
because if you, as you already mentioned, that government requires to do this thing. Corporate has to make the effort to do all of
the
this.
corporate has to look at business. If business is what they want to do, they have to employ disabled people. They need to make their products and services for people with disability. They should look at them as their consumers of products. So any business which is inclusive for people with disability is adding more business, is adding more value. And if your business is accessible, employment can easily happen because you don't have to change anything at that point in time. So if you design your business keeping in mind disabled people, then your product and services are anyway friendly.
Yeah.
And then if you want to employ, automatically you'll find employees who don't have to do much.
So, anything that you would like to say or any question that you have?
So just always think of a people with disability as somebody who's competent. Everybody comes with some competence.
No, never underestimate anyone.
Yes.
My last question would be like, how can we spread more awareness about non-visible disabilities? Because I don't think so people can identify by saying that the other person might be facing some issue in a specific environment. So how can we change
Can I
that?
interrupt you? Would you want to talk? Are you comfortable talking about your Okay.
What are you saying?
Like how can we spread awareness about non-visible disabilities?
No, I think the systems need to take care of it. You know the lenient flower, the sunflower thing people can wear at the airports. So you come with somebody with neurodivergent, so it happens in Bangalore, it was in Delhi somewhere. So those, again, these are policies, your culture. If you create, like, irrespective if you are an elderly person or you are pregnant or somebody who has a temporary illness or arthritis or health condition, you get a wheelchair assistance in the airport. It doesn't say no to you because the system is created. You don't have to have a disability to get a wheelchair in a station or a mall or an airport. So like that, this is a cultural thing. The more you study, the more you understand about disability, and the biggest disability in the world is invisible. It's the mental health. People with psychosocial disability are the biggest number in the world. So, but we are the most ignorant about them. We make fun about them. ये कैसे बोल रहा है, ये कैसे चल रहा है, इसको याद ही नहीं रहता है, you know, and so on.
Understood, sir.
Sir, lastly, since this video would be, it would be going on social media, it would reach to someone who is facing these problems in real life. So, what advice would you like to give someone or a younger you? What would you like to tell them?
Look after yourself. Get organized. Fit रहो जितना हो सके, healthy रहो, and organize yourself. You should know where you can go, what you need. So that's where you know yourself as more. Don't try to, prove your mental to anybody, and don't be apologetic.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.